Hello YouTube, this is an alcohol review of Old Brigand Black Label Superior Barbados Rum. According to the label, 43% alcohol by volume, 86 proof, 750 ml bottle, blended and bottled in Barbados. The back hints on a tasting note saying it's masculine yet smooth tasting, whatever masculine tastes like, with subtle aroma. Alright. Boom. We have a wood top with a synthetic cork. Whew, it is warm. There we are. And this is what we get. It is a heavy caramel with yellow highlights into it. From what I can tell on my screen here, it's a little bit lighter than what I'm seeing on my side of the camera. Give it a swirl. Why the swirl, you ask? The swirl is to get some of the solution up on the side of the glass. So as it draws down, it gets a little thinner, thus causing it to evaporate a little bit faster. It just encourages evaporation on the side of the glass, as well as the top of the solution. We have an upside down funnel, taking all those wonderful smells, collecting them together, making it easier to smell what we have in our glass. That's why Glencairn is such a wonderful glass, and wannabes like this one is quite nice. I get a huge whiff of the ethanol, blended in with fruit notes and spices. Orange, lemon, oddly grape. Very strange. There is notes of cinnamon and vanilla, which helps round out and softens things out. But that alcohol, that ethanol bite on the nose is still predominant. As for the palate, it matches the nose. There's a strong ethanol, to my palate, a burnt rubber, but it also bites pretty good. The hang time on this, which is the time when you first taste it to when finally the flavors are off your tongue, is very long. So this builds up quite easily on the tongue. It doesn't get too extensive. It kind of hits a topping point and stays, but it's there. So keep that in mind. It does not come off the palate cleanly or easily. You get the taste of the fruit notes, get the taste of the cinnamon and the vanilla. Everything that your nose was telling you comes in the palate. But the problem is that there's such a strong alcohol overlay that it just nips at your tongue in a rather negative way. Easy to ignore, maybe. But it is there. It is a hard distraction from all the other flavors. So as a sipper, it's a struggle. Because of the long hang time, I would not suggest this in hot weather, which is funny, being rum and in the islands and whatnot, you expect hot weather. When it comes to hot temperatures, I want something that comes off the palate cleanly and fairly quickly. This does not. This would be a wonderful winter sipper. Well, wonderful would be a generous term. It's that alcohol bite that cuts it back. But the flavors are strong. There's a heavy smokiness to it. I myself like a good smoky in my bourbon, not so much in my rum. But that is my palate. If you like the smoke, you might like it. but it's a strong flavor, stronger than the fruit notes, which is stronger than the spices. So you're like, great. It has layers, which means you can sit there and go, let me contemplate this. What all am I tasting? Did this come across on the nose? And that's one of the fun, if you will, of spirits. You know, these kind of drinks. What all can you parse out? That's where you get those posh people saying about, oh, I smell, or I'm tasting. It's like, yeah, good for you, but what am I tasting? It has all that, but it's so tight together that it wants to muddy in its flavors. There lies a problem. Because if you take a little bit of water to help bloom, help open it up, help define those flavors better, if you add too much, it will just simply clump together like mud. Add a little bit of ice. Put the bottle into a freezer. Genius idea. From one of you guys that suggested it. Genius. But I'm afraid that when you do that, if you cool things down, it deadens the scent. And if the scent deadens, so does the tongue. The nose gives you a good 70% or more of what you're tasting. Strange but true. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a heightened alcohol, I want to call it heavy, alcohol flavor and heavy rum. I would say enhanced, but heavy rum that dominates over everything, but the layers of flavors get kind of crushed together and gets hard to parse out. So it's right on the edge of mud. Some of you, I'm sure, have a real good defined palate and can probably piece out and go, oh, no, this is just like a rainbow. It's this flavor, then this flavor, then this flavor, then this flavor. Isn't it wonderful? My tongue is not nearly that sophisticated, so I'm getting the different layers with a struggle, and that means it wants to clump together like mud. So it's very difficult to parse out exactly what you're tasting. Now, what about a cocktail? It should go well in a cocktail because of the smoky, because there's a heavy smoky layer in this. Because of that heavy smoky and that borderline mud of all the fruit notes and the cinnamon notes, it should go well with, say, some sort of soft drink to go into it all. And that should blend well in. I'm curious how this will go with the dark and stormy. I believe I have some ginger beer hiding someplace. I think there's one bottle left. I'm curious about giving it a try. Now, the secret to a ginger beer is that the rum must be very strong in its flavor profile. Thus, a black strap would go, things along that line. I believe this has enough body to represent itself in a dark and stormy. Not quite as powerful as a black strap. For those of you in the back of the classroom, a black strap is when they refine sugar. There's almost like a tar in the bottom of the pits, if you will. That stuff make rum out of it. And that is called black strap. In case you see it on the shelf, you're wondering, what is blackstrap rum? Well, it is rum made out of residual sugars out of manufacturing. So, and that usually has a very strong flavor to it. This isn't as strong, but I think it has enough to compete lightly. It won't get as far as a blackstrap, but at least it'll show up at the starting line. So as a sipper, because it's so heavy and has a long hang time, it doesn't go well for me in high temperatures. High temperatures, I want an easy off the tongue, light flavor, and this has got a lot of heavy flavor. So, yeah, definitely a cocktail type of rum. I said I get the flavor profiles, get the different, but they're so right on that edge. So, this is Old Brigand Black Label Superior Barbados Rum. Any comment about this particular product? Down below. Be warmly accepted, as always, or better yet, go out, buy it, try it yourself, and let the rest of us in the YouTube spirits community know your thoughts on Old Brigand Black Label Superior Barbados Rum. See if you guys find it. Like I said, I think somebody with a much more refined and superior palate could piece out the layers much easier than my blue collar Pilsner drinking, palate can find. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying, those of you who are much more sophisticated, and I'm sure there's a lot, should be able to get much better results than I. So don't be afraid to try it. The price range was about middle to low, where my wallet lies. So if you see it, don't be afraid. Just know that, yeah. Is it worth the cost of admission? Well, you be the determiner. I can't say no and I can't say yes. It's right on that line. Until next time, keep on drinking.